And so it begins a new dawn. Hello everyone and welcome back once again to the Anno 117 Pax Romana Demo. And this time we are joining Albion, or we are exploring Albion. And in this case we are playing as the Celts once again. I'm gonna go with a different approach this time around though. Last time we played as the natural Celts, as you might call them, or the spiritual Celts. This time I would like to jump right into the Romanized Celts. So that's the other variant that you can choose if you play in Albion. Now we need to get the economy going first though. Oops, this was a bit too close here. And yeah, once again with the demo, we are having a bit of a time constraint. That is, I can only play one real live hour, right? And that's it. Doesn't matter though if I speed up the time, so I can play on the second fastest level there to get the progress going there a bit faster, right? Let's continue with building us a smaller town then somewhere here with our very first houses. And yeah, we're gonna have them right here close to my harbor area as usual. Once I plop down the first buildings, very important for the Celts as well, is that you start with a food production, right? So this is the first thing you immediately need to do, otherwise there's no one gonna move in. And the cockle picker is my first one that we can have then right over here. And this is now producing us some cockles that we can use for eating. Funnily enough, we start with a bit of a waiter workforce on the base level, right? Just enough so that we can already have 3 sawmills. Oops. 3 sawmills and also a cockle picker working right away. So get the economy on early on. No boosting of the productivity as far as I can see though. So that's not something that we can choose at the moment at least. Now I continue with my roads then over here. Once again, we have the swamplands in this area. And once again, I just marvel the graphics, right? Because this game is really gorgeous. I also like that the scale kind of like seems to me increased now than before. So everything looks a bit bigger overall. Let's start exploring the area around my map immediately because I want to find some place to expand, of course. Now this is also a funny quest that we get always. You can actually seize the goods of someone to give you a bit of food, right? And even if you screw up the early economy, like the first building order, the game kind of like gives you a helping hand there to make things right again. All right, let's actually go into the planning mode, right? There's this one here. We can also toggle it. And in this case, let's go ahead and continue with some structures that we want to have. And I would probably like to have then a market of some sorts right over here, right in this area. And don't forget, as always, we're gonna need also our artisan buildings then in here. Let's build all of them right now.
Our scouts have sighted new land.
Very good. There's also some new islands now coming up. And also research I would like to unlock as fast as possible. Can we already go for religion? No. We need to reach that first milestone. Food is coming in. That's the cockles. Also the eels coming out of the quest that we got. We can also have our own eel production in here in the swamps. For the swamps, I would like to probably go with 2 points of entries. So this is a point that we can take, right? Because there's then cliffs here. Because otherwise we would need to build 2 large roads, right? 2 long roads. And these roads are very expensive because they cost you wood. Workforce is in, so I would like to go ahead and immediately continue with my sawmill number 4. Yeah, we're pushing. And we can also check if my warehouse is overloaded. Once again, we have the ramps working this. Okay, and I continue as always with some more housing. And all the different types of layouts that we can use for this. By the way, here, gonna make it a bit tight. This is something I don't like so much, right? That we do have the new shape of the roads now, which is awesome, but the buildings cannot be adjusted to it, right? So they can still only rotate in a fixed angle. And I would have loved for having assets adjusting to the road there as well. This is definitely a missed opportunity. Using this new feature, it kind of like feels a bit, you know, strange because I cannot fill in those gaps here now. Not even with all the ornaments that there are, right? So I think you cannot place anything in here ever. So that's a bit of a strange thing. I still like the shape, so let's go ahead and build it. And we also unlock the market and the Bard's Heart of that. The market I would like to have right here by the main road. And then we also have the Bard's Hearts and incredible hard as a non-native speaker to pronounce this, a Bard's Hearth. So let's just call it a BH. And the BH I'm gonna have somewhere over here. It has a very small radius, right? So gotta make sure that I get most of it in, like so. There you go. All right. Also, we continue with exploring some beautiful islands. This one here, I love all the new shapes that we have. This one here looks like one of the New World islands in Anno 1800, right? With that shape here. There's a swampland just on this side. It's one giant swamp. I'm gonna especially be curious how the swamp is gonna affect the late game of Albion, because we have more than 2 tiers, right? We have 3 tiers in Albion, so it's a bit more complex than the New World in Anno. And this is gonna be interesting. City status, small town has been achieved.
You must be the governor. My name is Licia Ma.
Hello, Licia.
Licia means glowing clouds.
That's very interesting. Tell me more.
In the desert at dawn. What is yours?
I'm just Niv. Thank you very much. Okay, let's actually have... Wait a second. There we have then our... Here we have then a bit more artisans, right? You can also have some ornaments in here, whatever. And this one goes then up. Like, could also make it like so. Let's go with a bit more chaotic approach. All right, timber we have a lot. I think we really are a bit too slow there. Okay, let's build all of them. There you go. And next in line, we have now the swamp over here. So we have 2 new productions that we can check out now. The reed and the tunics. The reed gives you income and health, which is going to be important since health is already deteriorating. It needs, however, marshland. So I need to get this one in here somewhere. Let's try this approach. I'm going to have my warehouse. There's no additional cost if you place it in the swamps. So I'm going to have my warehouse out here because we're going to have a bunch of production around that. Also research, that's very important. Let's go with the market focus right away. I love this one. It's increasing the range of the markets by 20%, right? So you can squeeze in more buildings for each market you build. And actually these are also very important here then. So the night watch gives you additional patrols. For the firefighters, we can have the same thing here. So I'm gonna go with those. And then we're probably focusing a bit on, yeah, for example here, the sewing circles gives me more knowledge for each tunic maker that we have. Gonna have a bunch of them. See, this is 3 already, growing municipia. And in this case, let's have our reed gatherers. Let's have the first one here, just along the edges. That looks right to me. And then we have the second one here. Give a bit of space up there because there's another entry point then into the marshes. 140 fields is really quite a bit. So yeah, there you go. That's 2 of them. And with that, we can have now our shoe weavers. And yeah, we should have them in the center or in the city itself. So this is where I have a bit of space. Now there's 2 radiuses here that matter for you, right? The first one is the circle radius that we have. The circle shows the area of effect for the resident buildings, whereas the road radius that you can see actually affects the cargo hauler, the one that gets the resources to the production building. So the green street needs to extend all the way to a warehouse, right? Whereas the circular one only needs to extend over all the residences, right? So there's those 2 things. Let's continue up here in the north in my production area, and we're gonna push, yeah, here, because I would like to start with my next production, which is the hemp farms. And don't worry, we're gonna have a quick look at that beautiful lake over there in a second. I want to finish my field here. Is there a more beautiful city builder out there? I don't think so. I really don't. There you go. Let's have those, and then my spinners, and they also once again need to be in the city, providing me a boost of +1 coin, right? So let's have one here, and I'm gonna have the other one over here. And just in case, because we're gonna have more artisan buildings, I would like to have another warehouse then over here somewhere, because we will expand to this area. Because of my time constraints, I'm gonna push just more copy and paste blocks. By the way, we should be able to get the next market going here, right? Let's keep a bit of space there. Why not? It can definitely be looking chaotic. I have no problem with that, no qualm, no quarrel. There you go. This is awesome. And then we can have then a Bard's Hearth, a BH again. Probably will need to get rid of some buildings here in the center at some point to make room for the big buildings that we have for tier 2 then. Now, we should be getting everything in now. The last remaining production buildings are in effect. And I'm just really expanding now my population, right? So we can have another block here and here. As Lancross is growing. You can also have a quick look to the lower streets. And so we can also finally advance to tier 2 in this beautiful little Celtic village. And let's just go ahead. And now we can choose the path, right? Last time we played as the Celts, the normal ones. And this time around we're gonna go with the Romano-Celtic. Bear in mind, you can have both of them actually on the same island as far as I know right now. And you can of course also have them on each island, their own ones. You're not locked into one path for eternity. Both of them have different specialities. This one here is more natural, believing, spiritual. They also have cloaks and cheese, and yes, you have then the tier 4 Romans, for example, that want, for example, cheese, right? So you need to go for them anyway at some point. Let's go with the Romano-Celtic stuff for this playthrough, and they also give me the knowledge, or they're focusing on knowledge more or less, and then also brooches and mirrors and stuff like that. Also, they have different houses, right? So they have the Romanized Celtic versions of these houses.
I want the people here to take care of each other. Time of gains for all.
All right. These are finished. Now we immediately can work on my second construction material, that is the tiles. And for this, we need the mud dryer first. And yeah, let's just have 2 right away. And then I can have my tiler here. And yeah, this is also once again something that reduces the fire safety of the surrounding area. And then we need a charcoal burner. This one needs a lot of wood, and I'm probably gonna push one over here, far away from everyone. With its own warehouse. But locked behind dense forests. And, oh wow, there's a second marshland coming up. That I didn't see so far. I'm blind. I thought this was part of, I don't know, background assets, but no, actually it's buildable space. Where can we enter this? Not here. Here it is. This would be the entry point into marshland number 2 then. I'm really curious how tier 3 Albion looks like with the marshlands then. Alright, let's build me the last houses over here. And we also continue with more roads than here. And here we're actually now closing in on the lumberjacks, so I will not be able to endlessly expand over there. This one, actually we can move this one a bit further over, so I have a bit more space here. You can still have amazing shapes though, right? Like, I like this block actually. It's a good block. I can totally see that the Roman version would be more grid-based, right? Whereas for the Albion version, I would probably go with a more chaotic approach. I think it fits more to the theme. But the Roman cities definitely, they should look a bit orderly, right? Time to add some more artisan buildings then, for these. And also another shoemaker. Oh, okay, there's no need for them. There, probably, for a bit of happiness. Now we also have access to the city services. So, especially for health, this is really important. And yeah, we could have this one here in the middle to get the maximum bonus out of it. Very nice. For a central hospital, more or less. As the sun is going down. This is really a fantastic view, ladies and gents. Holy cow. The sky, I love that it's calculated now in real time, so it's not a fixed skybox anymore. And look at what it does for the atmosphere. That's crazy. Do you see how also the fog is coming out of the ocean? That is just... Now it's morning, right? No, it's actually late evening. That is an amazing job. Honestly, it is. Okay, let's go back to daytime though. It's just easier for construction. We do have the warehouse here. Let's make a connection. Like so. And let's also add another cockle picker. Alright, for my Romano-Celts, we do need bread and sausages, right? That's two things that the normal Celts don't need. So the donkey mill we need and the wheat farm. There is no fertility attached to this as far as I can see. So it makes sense to have a bunch of them. Probably then here, but there's also some mountain sides that I would like to keep. Here, just along this one. Then we can have some grain fields. 140 is once again quite a bit. For the grain farm it makes sense, right? Look at that. This is well done, right? So at least the fields can be adjusted to the different shapes of the road. Which adds then a very good dynamic look. I would love for the buildings to be able to do the same thing, but unfortunately, that's not happening. Alright, I'm actually going to push 4 of them right away to not have to worry about it anymore. Because I think that's all the bread I'm ever going to need. And then we just need some of these. And... Oh, the ratio is 1-to-1, in fact. Okay. That's surprising, honestly. So I need to have actually 4 of them. Start with 2 here, and then another 2 here. Just by those fields. Gonna need another warehouse anyway for more production than here. And then we still need 4 bakeries now that I can build. I think that was way too much. We certainly don't need 4 bakeries right now. Let's have the first one down here and the other one then up here, right? That's already 2 tons of bread we produce now. And we don't even need a ton, right? So this was way over the top for me here. But it's okay. I hope so. With bread coming in, we actually fulfilled 2 slots here, right? So this would already be enough for all the food. This one gives me more happiness. We don't really need the sausage right now, so I'm going to wait on that. And instead, I'm going to go with that eel production here. That we could use here. Because I really want to save some space there. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Both of them can go for the warehouse. That's my eel production. Where is it? There it is. It's not enough though, so I need another one. Probably over there. get this demand also satisfied. Now, the fire risk is the biggest issue once again. That's of course also because we have the bakeries and so on. So I would like to have a firefighter here. And they're really expensive. For this area then, and we should also have them in the industry zones, right? So here and also in my farming area here. You want to cover as much of that as possible. Okay, also the game reminds me that we should probably be going for our villa at some point. The governor villa. And yeah, once again, you gotta be careful about this. Never have the villa close to the beach, because it should not get destroyed, right? So we might have it here in the center of the island. You can also have it up on a plateau like here. That would be easily defendable. So this would actually be an ideal location for the villa here, right? Have the hot springs close by. I think this is also nice here. Just squeezed in like that. Or here. Could also work, honestly. Yeah, let's have the villa here. This will also be hard for anyone to get into.
There are two gentlemen here to see you. Unless that is, I am seeing double.
I hope not, otherwise I would have to replace you.
Your instructions.
And okay, we can now speak to two people here. The Roman Imperium is keen to support its governors. Funds were put forward to hire you, an aide called Julius Lupus. However, there must have been some bureaucratic misunderstanding, because there are two Julii standing now before you. Okay, we got Brutus. He has the warehouse effect, 50% workforce reduction, and have 10% increased loading speed for warehouses. Or we got Gaius. Warehouses require 50% upkeep cost reduction, or less than that, and have 10% increased. Yeah, let's go with him, with Gaius. Because workforce is something that we have plenty. I don't care about workforce reduction. Let's build this here. It has a pretty huge effect. And also this one, right? With that, we can get that fire risk down. The higher the fire risk, of course, the higher the chance that you get also severe fires. I do need to have another charcoal burner though. Upgrades are ready. Let's push. And with that, we're growing. Could also have a quick look again at the lower levels. Oh, sorry, I'm playing at the highest speed. It really doesn't look good when you play on the highest speed up front. This looks more realistic now. Still a few zombies we have. But I'm pretty sure this will iron out. All right, beautiful. Now, next in line, we have new buildings. That is the Grammaticus. Now, this is the special building you get. And then we also have the Fanum. That actually needs smiths though, right? So we cannot unlock this one. Service-wise, they're happy with the Grammaticus only. So let's actually delete these guys here and get me in my Grammaticus. Ah. May I have it like so? No, I cannot get it central. I cannot. Pushes the city right away. And with that also, once again, adds more penalties. Okay, this one pushes my research though. And religion-wise, we go with Ceres again. Though I also really like Minerva. And research-wise, the market is coming still along only. So we haven't advanced that far. Okay, also, we should expand to the next island. And that is this one here. I like the shape of it. And yeah, only money is required to settle here. It's actually something I was a bit shocked in the beginning because I was so used to construction materials, but actually I like it now. It leads to less micromanagement because you don't need to, you know, stock resources again on every ship. Okay, we could give Lycia a loan. No, I was offered a loan. We could accept it. I'm gonna decline though. Sorry, I don't need a loan. There it is, market forces. So with that, we have now a bigger radius on a market. There you go. And we can squeeze in a bunch more people.
Citizens are dissatisfied with their lot and may soon revolt.
All right, on the second island though, we don't have... we're starting with the waiter workforce again. So that means I'm gonna have my cockles. And then I'm starting with some lumber production again, immediately. Alright, the city we're probably gonna have then here. We do need some basic workforce, and this one has the resin fertility that I need. So that's why I'm here for, to get me the resin going. Also olive oil, this is the first good then that we need to have delivered, right, from Latium. The city continues to grow, and so its demands. And if we look at down here, we also have the fashion demand. So the food is now satisfied with bread coming in. The services are satisfied. Now we're working on the fashion, that's the brooches. And the brooches, they need a mountain silver deposit. So we have silver on this island, which is great. And we do have some mountain slots. And I would like to use them right away. Up here. By the way, I like the night cycle, but day and night cycle, but really for construction, I like to have a clear picture. How much do we need? Not even a ton, but of course I would like to work in advance. So this one produces 2 per minute. That is actually enough. And once again, you are not bound to a mountain slot, right? So there's just mountain slots now, like in Anno 2205. And you can have any type of mine on a mountain slot as long as there is the fertility of this or the deposit. So we have copper and silver, meaning I can have copper and silver mines wherever I please. There it is. This one needs then a silver forge and actually 2 of them. And let's have a bit of a forge area then here, right?
One of your cities is at risk of a great fire.
That means we will also need to have our own dedicated firefighter here. Ah, we have already. And then I can have 2 forges here. I mean, actually we just need 1 right now. Also consumes some of my coal then again. There's no coal mine so far, so hope that's enough. And then we have the fibularium, and we can actually have 2 already out of this. And yeah, once again, something we can have in the city. We don't have to though, because it once again increases the fire risk, right? And we already have the bakeries doing that as well. So you gotta be very careful with these. I'm gonna have them a bit further outside, and I'm only gonna have them close to the firefighters that we have there.
If you're after something, it'll have to wait. I'm a touch busy.
And with that, this production is satisfied. And I will probably really need to get another firefighter going. Yep, this one here. A festival can be hosted. Prevents out diseases. Increases my health. And all chains blessed with Ceres on the island get another 50% productivity. We paid 2,000 for this. Alright.
As painful as it appears.
And we also got some riots down here. For the first time. That's, of course, we have a very bad island happiness. So far, I already have my custodes in the area, so they're already working the magic. Arresting as many as possible. There are way more people on the streets than before. I mean, it looks like the whole city is right here. I continue with a bunch more upgrades to have a proper looking downtown area.
Gotta say it, I'm impressed, Governor.
And since we have reached 1000, we also get another bonus with the Emperor. Let's also have a smaller village here on my second island now. Together with a market. I'm also gonna need a tunic production on this island to push my people to the next level, because not every production requires only waders. Here, for example, we do need to have, for my amphora, for the resin trapper or tapper, we do need to have then tier 2. So I need to at least get this one going. So that's the cockles, and that's my tunics. Alright, by the way here, we're full on timber, which is okay. Let's get me another cockle picker. Pretty sure at this point we have an increased demand. And also we have some ruins here. Just glad that we have these points of... Oh, look at that, yep. These here need to have a road entrance on just one side. Okay, so if I want to build another one, gotta make sure that it has its connection. Unfortunately, for... Oh, wait a second, we can have that. We have the herbs fertility on this island. So let's have some herb gardens and then also some pig farms for the sausage maker. This one needs also coal. Huh. That's a tricky one. How much sausage do we need? 1 ton. So I would like to calculate with 2. So I need to have 3 herb gardens, in fact, because they have... They don't even produce every minute, right? The cool thing is they actually have a health boost. So it makes sense to have some of them close to the city, like this one here. I like this. Alright, this is a way of actually squeezing in some ornaments here. Fantastic, because it also creates the fence or the wall here along the street. I like that. Alright, that's number 1. Let's have number 2 then here, yeah. And number 3 here. Where's my warehouse? There's the warehouse.
Never out of water long in my line of work. Skin of a newt.
So you can have some of these herb gardens outside. The pig farms, of course, yeah, they're not the happy bunch. So I'm gonna have them a bit further away. And we only need 1, right? So it might even be worth it to just squeeze it in up here. Should work. There you go. Nice.
This will keep you from purloining my cabbages.
The Emperor, I think, has something.
This way we shall remain.
You stand in the presence of Emperor Gnaeus Firmius Calidus, former legate of the Legion. He nods as he surveys you before breaking out a childish grin, a grin with teeth. How do you respond? Hail him, of course. Changes the repetition by 1. There you go. Okay, now we have this one, once again reducing the fire safety, but increases my income. I'm gonna have 1 here, right, and we need a second one, probably up there somewhere. Right, so with that we have this production already going. Let's go back, because here we should be... No, we are not, why not? Tunics are coming in just now. And now we can work on that upgrade. Wait a second, let's have these here. There you go. You can also, by the way, go in here and choose the Celtic residence, right, if you want to. You don't have to go for the Romanized version. Now with that out of the way, we should then be able to get us this production going. Now the resin tapper just needs, yeah, trees. And we do need to have, I think I'm gonna go ahead with 2. Yeah, we can afford 2. There's the other one. Getting the road connection. The rest I could actually have on my main island. So here we can now start once again a trade route between the two. There you go. And I'm gonna pick Kushuk's light that we have there. And this one is now picking up the resin that we have here. Let's establish this. Also get us that milestone for my research. Albionic research is now available. That's down. That's the municipal research. Albionic research. There it is. Gives you specialities for the Albion area, right? So waiter workforce is increased for the by the governor villa. Also here, the water construction allows the placement of Albion coastal production buildings in water. So not just on the coast. Here we can drain the swamp. And aqueduct boosts for the pastures, iron deposit plus 50%. And the water supply for the aqueducts increased. Stuff like that. I'm actually researching the well right now. We should be finishing it. There it is. Because we need more fire safety. And the well is one of those things that you can research. There it is. It's a tiny building, so you can squeeze it into these areas here, right? And it actually makes sense in a lot of these places to have it. We can have one up here. We can have one over here. And this drastically improves now the fire safety, definitely here in my area that we have. All right. With that out of the way, let's focus again on our production. So that is the mud dryer that I need once again. And I'm going to go ahead have one here. And that's it. And now we just need a potter. Fire risk increase. And I don't care about the income though, so I'm going to have this one in my heavy polluted area up here. Right. And this is then producing potter. I think I'm going to go with 2 here. Unrest, we should have to the police close by. There it is. Doing the job. And by the way, there's not much room anymore for my firefighters. Up here by the charcoal burners we can have them. Now, the amphora, once it's in, actually has a bonus though, and that's increasing the fire safety. So once the amphora comes in, we should see an increase in fire safety again. Very good. So, you know, actually the potter reduces the fire safety, but increases the income if we have a close to residential buildings. And the amphora itself then is reducing fire risk again, so that's funny. And also, that ship is finally inbound with the first resin. 8 tons it is. We can also build guest house. That's coming out of the villa. So a villa has a limit of guest houses, right? And this one here is 3, for example. And yeah, think about it like the trade unions, for example. You can have them in an area like here, for example. And you can then attach items to it, right? That you can use for the surrounding area. So this has been the Albion playthrough. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, we've experienced now both tiers. Of course, it's only the beginning. You have tier 3. You have all the productions that you need to set up for the Romans. And then there's also a few surprises down the road as well that you haven't seen yet. Can't even think about it. What I really like is this game so far, the visuals, of course. And I didn't even realize it. Look at that. That the villa was so high up. Because down here, you cannot see this. Right? But when you look from the first person mode or the photo mod, it really goes up there steeply into this mountainside there. That's really cool. Yeah, so far so good. Enough with the babbling, enough with the bobbling. I hope you enjoyed this one. And we continue, hopefully then, with a bigger version in the next time that I'm gonna play this game. To really build true megacities of Roman times. Stay tuned.